Welcome back, everyone. This is Man at Fishburner again, and we are doing another live on a Friday night. And you can see, for those who has been here on level 2 event space, you notice that we are very quiet. No pitches on stage, and we have Lee sitting next to me. Thank you for being with us. And so today is a quiet conversation. I managed to grab a couple of people, including Lee, and 2 more people behind the camera at the moment. And let's see if I can talk them into stand in front of the camera to share about their Fishburner journey so far.
Cool. Thanks for having me, man. Very well coerced.
What?
On a Friday night.
Okay, yes. The whole point is to tell the story about our members and build connection. If any one of you watch this video now or later, you rewind back to previous video when Henry was over there doing a conversation with Jeff. Henry Weaver is probably one of the most respected Fishburners. He highlighted one thing: the key value is the connecting founders with founders, because somehow you are in the same journey. Yes. Either earlier, later, and you face exactly the same pain that others are facing.
Yeah, that's true.
Tell me your story, Lee.
So we're working on a fashion upstart. It's a slow fashion upstart. So by way of explanation, if you think about slow fashion, think of it as the opposite of fast fashion. So everything that happens within fast fashion, making clothes cheaply, quickly, for disposable use, is the opposite of everything that we want to do. So it's really about, making things slowly, making clothes that are built to last and to be savoured for longer. So that's really what we're trying to do. And we're really trying to drive awareness of the impact of fast fashion in the world and show that there's an alternative way to make fashion.
You are not older than me, so I like fast fashion.
Yes.
If I see a T-shirt, I want it now. Mm-hmm. If I see a pair of funky jeans, horn jean with lovely embroidery on the side, I want it now. I want it cheaper. Mm-hmm. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, so this is, a really common, challenge that a lot of consumers face. And I think one of the things that we've identified is that people have been so disconnected, they've become so disconnected to the process of making clothes.
But you're going against consumer nature.
But I think that consumers aren't aware. I think if consumers knew what went on behind the scenes of fast fashion and what's involved, I think they would maybe, decide differently if they had all of the information and the awareness.
But I'm bringing jobs to developing country. Far regional China now can make white T-shirt to print that funky logo I want.
Yeah, I mean,
every $10 I spend, $6 go to somewhere far deep in Afghanistan or in Pakistan.
I appreciate.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, I appreciate it's a really complex topic, and these are things that we ask ourselves, as we research and as we build out our business. It's not about taking away those jobs; it's about bringing more integrity to those jobs. So it's how can we create a space where people can make things of high quality, so that the return on their wages is reflective of all of the effort and all the hard work that they put in there. Right now, fast fashion doesn't really do that, right?
So what's your solution then? Specifically, how your slow fashion are produced different to mass manufacturing so far? Yeah,
so we have an umbrella brand called Delicatessn, and the idea of Delicatessn. Oh, look over there.
No, I'm just pointing to you. Okay. Now the camera is facing you directly.
So the idea of Delicatessn, it's really inspired by the slow food movement, because we see there's a lot of parallels between the move from fast foods to slow foods. People are a lot more conscious and aware of what they're putting into their bodies, and so we think that there's a lot we can learn from fast fashion to slow fashion, right? And the greater consciousness and awareness that consumers will have about what they're putting on their bodies as well. So the umbrella brand is called Delicatessn. As I mentioned, it's inspired by the comeback of local delis and greater consciousness around the things that we're buying and the types of food we're buying. So within that, there's 3 sub brands or subcategories, and each of them often try to address the problem of waste within fast fashion.
Yeah.
So our first brand is all about made-to-order wear. So it's clothes that are made well and they're made to order rather than in bulk. So right now, within fast fashion, there's like mass production.
Yeah, that's
and,
right.
Brands flood the market with 10,000, 100,000 units of clothes that may never be sold. And in most cases, they're not sold. They end up in landfill. So we want to change that. Yeah, there's
So unsold inventory actually goes straight to landfill?
A lot of it does, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
some of it goes to charities and all that kind of stuff, but a lot of it we see end up in landfill and a lot of it end up in third world countries.
Okay, so they are become discounted product in some third world countries.
Yes, yes, and because they're made
Not
so
too
cheaply,
bad, right?
Because they're made so cheaply and they're made out of synthetic fibres,
That's
when they
right.
end up in landfill, it takes thousands of years to actually break down because they're not biodegradable. So the whole life cycle of a fast fashion item is quite damaging, in terms of the whole process.
Just to throw a curveball in this conversation, polyester happens to be the most common synthetic fiber. It comes from petroleum, oil. So if it come out from the oil, from the ground, make into polyester, is lots of energy involved, of course, and chemical involved. And then somehow when it go back to landfill, is it the most effective carbon capture? Because it now capture back, put it into the ground for another 20,000 years or 2 million years.
I'm not sure about the science behind that, but what we do know today is that an item that is made out of synthetic fibre, like polyester, takes thousands of years to actually break down. So it just sits there. It sits there, piles and piles of clothes just sitting there.
That's true.
And like I mentioned, in most cases, it's in third world and developing countries, which is not fair for people who have to live there.
Very good. And
so that's the first one. So that's made to order.
That's the first one.
Made to order wear, and then our second.
I've got a question first before you move on to the next one. Does it mean actually your brand is now going to go global or go only in Australia in the beginning?
We're global from the start.
Okay.
So we're,
so does it mean
e-commerce.
actually it will, wherever people order, made to order, are they going to be made locally within their ordering country or ordering city? Or is it from a global manufacturing site?
So we're establishing multiple supply chain hubs around the world. So we're establishing one right here in Australia, in Asia, and also we're looking at Europe as well.
Okay.
So we want to diversify our supply chain, as we've learnt from COVID. It's it's better to not put all of your eggs in one supply chain basket.
Don't buy all the egg from one free-range chicken farm. I guess that's the message I got. Okay, we switch back to that camera.
Sure.
So
look here.
that was point number 2. That was point number 1.
So that's our first. That's our first label.
Exactly.
Our second label is long life wear. Right, so one of the challenges that that we recognised when we were doing market research, we asked people, why do you throw out clothes? And one of the main pieces of feedback we got is that it just doesn't fit anymore. So I still, I want to wear it, but I don't fit it anymore. So long life wear is really about creating clothes that are made very well from really durable fabrics, but it's also made using traditional techniques where there's, hidden buttons and extra seams where it's adjustable.
So for someone who is a bit big, they can go out in one size smaller, and when they finish a giant banquet, they can go home in a one size bigger.
Yes. Well, our bodies change, right? It could be like that.
I thought that was a joke.
that instance, or it could be, some people lose weight throughout their life. So our bodies do change, and so long life wear is really about making the clothes that are adjustable, and it evolves with you.
I thought that's normally mean choose an elastic waistline, elastic jacket or whatever elastic things.
That is a technique that we would use as well.
That's right.
But it's making clothes that are flexible. Yeah.
Very good.
But also last a long time as well.
So that is the second brand.
So that's the second brand.
And the third brand you have.
And the third brand.
Before you do that, let's go to our sponsor message and we'll come back for the third brand.
Okay, sure.
Thank you for all the people that are watching online. I believe we have people from England, Israel, the US.
Okay, my name's Alex. I'm the founder of Tran.
First-hand dramatic impact of climate change.
We will send a read-only copy.
Please jump on here, send us.
All right.
Welcome back. And of course, I am operating my live stream system on my iPhone. Where were we? You are talking about
yes,
the
we're talking about the third
of
label
your
slash brand. The third one,
slow fashion.
slow fashion,
Yeah.
all slow fashion.
Yeah.
The third one is PreLoved wear. So this is recycling, upcycling
Yeah.
of vintage,
Yeah.
pre-loved clothing.
Yeah.
And, it's really about keeping clothes in circulation for longer.
Yeah.
And, for me personally, I decided 5 years ago that I would stop buying new clothes. Actually, I shop exclusively from op shops and secondhand stores
Yeah.
and markets.
Yeah.
And, I think there's something really beautiful about keeping things that are from a different era and from a different decade.
Yeah.
It's very unique. And it's preserving, handiwork or
Yeah.
techniques that just don't exist anymore. So,
That's right.
so that's our third one.
Sorry,
it's
got distracted when someone walked past.
That's totally fine. So it's really, a collection of kind of like archival clothing.
Really?
Yeah, and
So-
reclaiming clothing and saving them from landfill.
So
really.
what's the
And
business model for that one then? Because that's
so it's a resale.
challenge.
So it's resale.
Resale.
So we source and we collect vintage, unique, one of a kind, really well made
So you
clothing.
will actually pay cash to buy according to your buyers' expectation,
Yep.
inventory, his experience and skills,
Yep.
and to source it. Okay, so
Yes.
it's not a marketplace. Effectively, your buyer will go out or have a website where people can submit photo and then they will choose to buy or not buy certain items.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be like an e-commerce store.
That's right, yeah.
With clothing and with collections, but instead of new clothing, it's recycled, it's secondhand, it's pre-loved clothing.
Will you
but
go
it's
for,
curated.
Will you go for
right?
marketplace? Is it not a marketplace? You keep your own inventory.
Right now, that's what we're thinking. Yeah,
I
but
see,
we are
yeah.
aware of marketplaces out there like Depop and a couple of others where
Are
you can
they-
have a store on their platform.
What market niche that they offer? Those secondhand marketplace, secondhand expensive fashion or expensive garment marketplace that they don't offer that you would offer them.
So we're really looking at clothes that define eras. So it's really about what are the fashion and the styles that really define the 60s or the 70s or the 80s.
Oh, wow.
It's really going back.
You are talking
far.
about really 60. Then you are talking about what?
Yes.
60
I mean,
years,
there are still
nearly
clothes.
60 years old. No, actually more than 60 years old fashion.
Yeah.
Are they still
Yes.
usable?
Absolutely. Yeah, I own pieces of clothing that were made back.
Okay, that was
in that era.
kind of 30 years before you were born.
Probably, yes.
Exactly.
But look, I
40
think
years before you were born,
the thing with clothes that were made in that era
Yeah.
was that it was pre-fast fashion,
That's true.
right? So clothes were made very well back then. It was tailor-made.
Yeah.
It was made in very small batches. In most cases, it was made to order. So
That's
the
true.
background is my mom was a seamstress in Vietnam, and she was a made-to-order tailor. And so that's how we grew up. We grew up with our clothes being made by our mum, and she would
Yeah.
make our uniforms even. And so we grew up with a very personal and sentimental relationship to fashion.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. So are you a solo founder or you have a team at the moment?
I'm a co-founder, so my
Okay.
brother who works in fashion is
Okay.
helping me and supporting me.
What kind of fashion has he been working in?
Lifestyle.
Lifestyle.
Yeah.
So he tailor-made clothes, or you mean he was in lifestyle fashion
Lifestyle
business?
fashion, yeah.
What does it mean by lifestyle? That's
So
what I
it's
said.
just, it's like resort wear, it's, casual wear, that sort of thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. But that is a fast fashion as well, is it? Or high-end?
It's more luxury and high end.
Okay.
Yeah.
So therefore the quantity is not mass run. Are they produced in Australia?
They're producing multiple
Okay,
markets.
they source from multiple suppliers, multiple countries. Okay,
Yeah.
great. So how are our audience feeling like? Are you ready to talk about Tech for Good program? Because actually we have 2 free Fishburner member in the room. Now they are all Tech for Good program. You want to talk about it?
Sure. I mean, but Cameron, Rowan?
Oh, not now. Okay. Talk about, tell everyone watching this video, wherever they are watching, maybe 10 years later, what is Tech for Good at Fishburner?
Yeah, so Tech for Good is it's a scholarship program run by Fishburners, and I think it's been running for a number of years.
Proudly supported by City of Sydney.
Yes, yeah. So really generous support from the City of Sydney, and it's really a program to give founders the support, the community, and the resources that they need in order to build their businesses.
Yeah. So far, how is it?
It's been great. Oh, the one thing I should add is these businesses are impact businesses,
That's
right?
right.
So it's really about supporting businesses
Social
that are trying
impact business.
exactly,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it's
Yes.
social good businesses that are trying to make a positive impact in the world.
So that naturally lead to someone watching this might ask, what does it mean by impact business?
So impact is another word for social good. It's about having a positive impact, whether it can be, to society, to the environment. It can be a whole range of things, but the core of the business is that it is making a positive social impact.
Social change or
Social change, exactly. Social good.
How many, I happen to aware of the 17 United Nations defined social
ESGs.
impact criteria, whatever. How many boxes do you take?
I think my business was very focused on one of them, which was, I think, about supply chain.
Supply chain.
Yeah.
Not environment.
It could have been a combination.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll have to go back to my notes, but it's a combination of a number of them. But the one was more prominent.
Okay. Right, let's go for another sponsor message. Then we will come back to see if we can talk the other 2 guys to come in front of the camera like Lee has so bravely been doing. Thank you for that.
It's been fun. Thank you.
Go. Look at that. I press my iPhone again and operate my live stream. Oh, okay. So Lee's gone over there now, and Cameron is sitting next to me. And the third guy, I better don't mention the name, and let's see if I can talk him up. He's sitting next to me to talk about. So you are Cameron. Welcome to Fishburner for how long?
Maybe 3-4 months.
3-4 months.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
Yeah, so far very good. Very
Alright.
good.
So you are in the Tech for Good program.
That's right.
Let's don't talk about your business because I think it is not going to fly. But let's talk about Tech for Good. So tell me,
That's a good reason.
what's so good about Tech for Good?
Well, I guess it creates businesses which man doesn't think will fly.
No. I think something like that we just heard.
No,
maybe.
okay.
No, sorry.
Well, it's a great group of people, and yeah, we're all kind of, we've all thought deeply about solving big problems, and I think that's great. We can all bounce ideas off each other, and it's really challenging to try and solve any big problem, say if it's climate change or whatever.
Yeah.
And so we can all learn from each other, which is great.
What have you learned from each others in the program so far?
a good question. Hard to put a finger on one thing.
Hey, you just said you learned something
I know.
from each other. That's why
I know. It's just hard to single one
parrot
out. You
it
know?
back to you. Yeah.
Well, I can just rely on my short-term memory and go back to what Lee was saying about how you can look at how the food industry has transitioned from fast food to kind of slower, healthier food.
Yeah.
I think
McDonald's is still doing well though.
Oh, it is, but it's about how do we create more demand for those healthier options.
That's true.
And that is pretty much the challenge of any kind of consumer-based business solving any big problem, because whether it's climate change or whatever, it's all about getting people to think a bit more long-term for the future in a more ethical way.
Yeah.
And getting them to actually act that out is the real challenge. When it's very easy and your mind's telling you, I'll just go to McDonald's or I'll just go
Or
do
have
whatever.
pizza again, like our just our community
Exactly.
gathering upstairs.
Exactly.
How many pizzas have you had tonight?
I don't know.
How many beers have you had upstairs?
Oh, not too many. Not too many.
Not too many. Okay, that's the
Maybe-
reason
maybe-
why Cameron is brave enough to sit next to me to it in front of two cameras.
McDonald's has a healthy menu now.
McDonald's has a healthy
healthy
menu.
is it, though?
Lee just mentioned to us that McDonald's has a healthy menu. That's
Wow.
good. Okay, good to know. So talk about that business that I don't think it will take off so soon. Why
sure you want me to talk about
why
it?
you are contradicting yourself?
What do you mean? How am I contradicting myself?
You are developing a social media platform
Kind of.
that is help people to get rid of social media platform.
In a way.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I don't think much technology makes sense at the start, or many applications of it do make a whole lot of sense. But I'm trying to figure out how I can make it make more sense, and so it's a simpler message for people to take on.
Yeah.
And the way I've been thinking about it recently is it's more of a persuasive productivity tool.
Yeah.
And it's all about making your work more stimulating.
Yeah.
And it does that by using persuasive technology all around you, like your social media,
Yeah.
to help you make your work more stimulating
Yeah.
and essentially getting more focus out of your day. That's what it
Work more stimulating. I thought you mean some people find
Yeah.
their work not stimulating enough.
Yeah, well-
that's why they are addicted or waste too much time on social media.
That's not necessarily true, but what is true is that there's pretty much always something that's more stimulating than work.
Social media is
Not
sort
just
of capturing the crave for stimulation. Yes, is that what you mean?
Yes, in a way, but it's not just social media. Social
Okay.
media gets a bit of the blame, and to be fair, it's probably the most highly concentrated
Yeah.
synthetic form of stimulation.
Yeah.
But it's not the only stimulation out there. You can go check your emails for hours on end. You can go snack on food all day.
That's true.
There's always something that your mind wants to focus on, other than what your long-term focus
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
It's so you end up just spending less time on what really matters.
That's right. So, how do you help people?
Oh, so by using that like really synthetic stimulations, social media, I place it all in one place, package it up in a safe place where you can't get overstimulated or over-distracted, and I give you short bursts of it in a way that helps you make your work more stimulating. So it's easy to get started on your work, and you end up just spending more time focusing on the things that are more important to you.
So you're telling me that if I'm crave for ice cream, I open my fridge, I'll find your what's the name of the company?
Rocket.
Rocket. Find your Rocket ice cream, but for some reason it's so small a tub that I feel I have a tub, but actually it's way less than a tub. And then I say, yes, I have a tub of ice cream. I feel good until the next dose. Is that?
In a way.
Either
It's
way.
like-
So you have ice cream without having ice cream, or you have social media without having social media.
Maybe let me kind of use a different analogy. How about, you know how vegetables suck by themselves? If you don't season them at all, they're terrible. They're bland, right? What if you put a bit of salt and pepper and olive oil on top of them? right?
That's a good solution. Who discovered that? Is it you or your parents? Can I say that? Can I ask that
Unfortunately,
question?
I don't think my parents discovered that because they keep on giving me veggies without that. But seriously, you
I
have a
was
salad with
just
some
about to
dressing.
say,
this makes a
my
huge
two
difference.
boys out there, if they ever watch this, they will laugh, rolling on the floor laughing that I'm in front of the camera on YouTube.
Yeah.
But I can tell you is that if someone know how to cook veggie, kids will never find veggie boring.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So
So are you telling me that if I know how to prepare good social media posts, people will never find my social media boring?
no, that's a bit of a different premise. It's more of like the work itself is kind of boring, or it
Yeah.
can be boring
Yeah.
to your brain at least.
Yeah.
We might find it really, really stimulating, like in a long-term sense. Like you might get in the flow, you might
That's true.
find it really rewarding, but your brain is actually just looking for short-term motivators, and that's where like the seasoning comes in. It's like the salt and pepper, olive oil. That's the social media. It's attached to the work, so it makes
Okay.
your work more stimulating.
All right. So for those of you who want more salt and pepper and olive oil or sesame oil, olive oil.
Olive oil.
With
Sesame
your
oil smells good,
social
so-
media, with your work,
Yeah.
come to Cameron. I remember you told me before that your background is science, physics, or maths.
Yeah, all of them. all of them.
I never associate that education background with a flowy, long. You are surfer.
Yeah, surfer guy.
You are
Yeah.
surfing lifestyle as well. So I
Yeah.
have a stereotype of nerdy background people or nerdy guy like myself.
I'm still nerdy, but
Yeah, just with a little bit more style and charm. Is it?
I don't know. I guess so. I'm glad you think so.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's strange. I've got a bit of a weird
Yeah.
kind of take on everything. And
Okay, so
background.
why you solving this human behavioral problem, human addiction for instant gratification of distraction?
Well, as you can probably tell just based on what we were saying, I'm a bit of a generalist. So I like learning a lot of stuff.
Yep.
And I've managed to teach myself enough about product, tech, and marketing.
Yeah.
And so I'm that's one like fairly unique thing about me. I can do most of that.
Yeah.
But then if we add another layer of uniqueness, I'm also like based in Sydney, which is very
Yeah.
different to most kind of like the Silicon Valley startup scene, which
Yeah.
is the main competitor in terms of these types of apps.
Yeah.
And I'm also someone who can do it all bootstrapped, which offers another like layer of uniqueness, because
Yeah.
all the social medias ended up the way they did because of their venture capital and their financial incentives, and that's kind of
But
the path that led them down there.
business do need to be sustainable, do need to make money and
Oh,
return
yeah.
for the investor.
Exactly.
So they do have
Well-
their human-driven objective.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's also, I think we're moving into a world where ethics is more of a driver
Okay.
for consumer decisions.
All right.
And so I think setting yourself up for like a 10-year exit timeline where you have to maximize profits
Yeah.
isn't necessarily a great thing for customers and ethics.
Yeah.
And I think that's just another layer of uniqueness where I can avoid that and build a product which really aligns with my mission more than profit.
You are solo founder at the moment, or you already
Yeah.
start to build a team of co-founder and staff?
Just me, yeah, just me.
Any follower yet?
Followers in terms of what?
In terms of your startup, any people sort of start helping you, advising you more
Oh,
actively, more regularly?
Yeah, like there's always people helping out,
That's
which is really
good.
nice.
That's
Yeah.
good. You want more people to jump on board with you? We have potentially
I was like-
17,000 followers out there in our social media channel. What would
That's
you
true.
like to ask them to do for you?
Well, if you're distracted at all,
Yeah.
I think it'd be great if you checked out my website and either download it, give it
Yeah.
a go, or
Yeah.
if you don't like it, just give me feedback. There's a feedback form
That's
on the
very good.
website.
That's very good. Link in the description below. And do you want us to post your social media link on the description as well? Twitter, YouTube?
I don't really use it too much anyway.
Oh, you don't use it? Okay.
Well, I use it occasionally, so it's...
So how are you going to find your audience if you don't use social media? But because that is the most proven channel.
That's the challenge.
And in fact, we are on a social media at the moment.
We are.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let's see
I've
the
got little
YouTube
ideas.
algorithm work with us this time. All right.
Yeah, the YouTube algorithm probably doesn't like me.
So can I sort of put some thought out there that anyone watching this one, if you find yourself in the middle of the night for no reason, YouTube take you to this video, and you agree that you've been distracted too much by YouTube video, and you want to help Cameron solving this media distraction problem that may take you away from your real work, that you should have put some salt and olive oil on it. Okay, so follow the link in the description and trying to contact Cameron and see how you can help. Any final word? No?
That's good. You summed it up nicely. Thank you.
I'm not sure about that. So question,
Okay.
fruit or vegetable?
Fruit.
Fruit. Ice cream or olive oil?
I do like olive oil, but it's going to be ice cream.
Ice cream. Ladies and gentlemen, he just give up olive oil on veggie, but he choose ice cream on fruit. Thank you everyone for joining us. I'll see you next time at Fishburner Live. Bye-bye. Say why? Say bye-bye. Yay!